and welcome to a session that I'm calling Pilates for Visualization. Sometimes Pilates instructions can be very confusing or difficult to understand what we're supposed to be feeling and where in our body we're supposed to be feeling these Pilates moves. So with the power of visualization, we can start to think about these exercises and movements in our body in a different way, perhaps strengthening our connection to our deeper core muscles. Visualization also helps stimulate positivity and focus and mindfulness, which are all things that are going to make our Pilates practice the most optimal that it can be. Pilates uses a lateral breathing technique. So if you place your hands, and I thought I would just start by using a pillow. It's ideal to use a balloon or a squishy ball, but I have a pillow on hand. So this is the idea. This is going to be our tool for visualization of what is happening inside our body. So when we inhale, we are expanding our ribs, our lungs. And as we exhale, we are letting the air go all the way out and drawing in our ribs towards the spine, our abdominals towards the spine. When we inhale, we are opening up, ballooning outwards. And as we exhale, we are engaging, pulling in. Now, when I squeeze the pillow, it should be also pulling in here and here on all sides. So I'm going to hug the pillow. So inhale, it's opening. And as you exhale, letting the air exit the body, and as a result, letting the core muscles engage or contract. Thank you, pillow. Let's place the hands on the ribs now. Inhale. Feel for that intake of oxygen, and exhale. Feel the ribs draw in deeper into the body. Let's place one hand forward and just the top of the hand at the back. Same thing. Breathe in. Feel some openness or some expansion in the palms, and exhale. Let that exhale draw the muscles in. A little lower. So hand right on top of the belly button and other hand just at the low back sacrum area. Breath a little deeper. And exhale. So the idea is wherever you're placing the hands, you should be able to direct the breath and get that feedback from the palms as to where the breath is in your body. In Pilates, we don't have super low breathing. Our breath is a little bit higher, lateral breath in the rib cage area around the major organs. So one more here, breath in. Openness and expansion, and then so I really love this breath technique, applying it for when we are twisting. A lot of people don't feel where the work is supposed to be happening during a twist. So now we're going to put that specific breath work in place with our actual Pilates move. So we'll just stack the arms, and I'm just doing this so we can sort of keep this midsection part open. You can also bring the hands to the shoulders or hands on top of the head, whatever arm position you like. Sit up nice and tall on those sitting bones. Now breath in to prepare. Expansion and openness. Now exhale, start to feel. Keep the exhale going, keep the contracting going, and let that rotation come as a result of that exhale breath. Inhale, back to center, expansion. Exhale, draw in ribs, knit. That's another visualization, the knitting of the ribs closer together. Inhale back to the center. Openness and expansion with that lateral breath, and draw it in. Takes lots of focus. Pull the ribs a little tighter, wrapping around the spine. Inhale back to center. Expansion and openness, and exhale. Twist, twist. More twist, more exhale. And then come back to the center, release the arms. So we don't want to do the twist with the shoulders and the arms. We want to do the twist with the breath, the spine, and the core muscles wrapping around the spine. So let's just place the hands on the knees and roll the shoulders out a little bit. Let that one go, moving into our next visualization. And I think for this one, I'm going to come up into a kneeling position. So I'll use the towel just underneath the knees for a little bit of kneecap cushioning. So I want you to, let's go this way first. I want you to think about the space in between these hip bones. So the space in between and the pelvic floor. Now our visualization technique is going to be a zipper. You know when you have that one pair of jeans that's a bit too small, but you're putting them on anyway, and you're pulling them up the body. And now that zipper, what you have to do is you have to draw in the abdominals, but also lift up at the same time. So think about that zippering. It's pulling in and lifting up at the same time. The lifting up action is going to naturally make your tailbone drop down. So instead of this, we're lifting up. So I'm just pretending to put on that pair of too tight pants and then zipping it up from the pubic bone all the way up to the belly button or navel, and then maybe even a tad bit more. Keep that energy lifting up and in. Breathe in, expansionness and openness, and now exhale, zip up, zip in, draw in, and zip up. We call that duo action or dual action, where two actions are happening at the same time, the drawing in and the lifting up. See how low you can start your zipper. Ideally, we want it to be a Kegel happening right at the base of the abdominals, at the pelvic floor area, lifting up. You can feel that lifting as the ribs are knitting in on that exhale. Let's put those two ideas, the lifting in and up, and the expansionness of the breath, opening and contracting closer. Let's put that together into a classic ab curl, which is often used as a preparation exercise in Pilates. So we'll come down onto our back, exhale, draw in, ribs, ribs, ribs. Zip up those abdominals. So sometimes you'll hear the cue in instruction, zip up the abdominals. I often say that because I like the visualization that goes with it. So knees are bent, feet are placed hip width apart, parallel legs on the floor. And let's bring the hands just behind the head. I'm just going to bring one hand onto the ribs slightly just to get that feedback as you breathe in, openness and expansion. Exhale, draw the ribs in, Kegel and zip up those low abs. And now that all that's in place, you can finally begin your move, the ab curl. And if you're truly connecting to those muscles, you'll feel a little bit of shaking and you'll feel much more work happening. Lower it down. A lot of people move from the shoulders and arms or the neck or chin because those are muscles that are strong and often overworked. So it's very natural to just do a lot of this arm flapping and chin jutting motion. But what we're going to do instead is find the correct connection to the core using the breath. Let's breathe in to prepare. Expand now. Exhale. Contract the abs, zip up those lower abs, kegel, 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 and finally keep exhaling and apply the actual move, the ab curl. Inhale, lower. Let's try that 2 more times, but this time we'll try the legs coming halfway up into tabletop. Let's draw the legs together. Inhale to prepare. Don't change the arms or the head or the neck. Exhale. The breath changes the core. It flexes the spine and it pulls or draws the upper body away from the ground. Looking at those kneecaps. Stay for another inhale. Now exhale, use the breath. Lower it back down to your neutral spine. And we'll go one last time here. Let's take the legs a little higher. Keep the legs still. Keep the tailbone, the sacrum feeling planted into the ground. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, engage. Contract. Start to curl up as you zip up those low abdominals, zip up and in a little bit more, and finally zip up past the navel and stay for your inhale. Exhale, more engagement, deeper, tighter, and slowly place it back down again. And then bend the knees and lower the feet and rest. Sometimes moving very slow can help you concentrate and connect more deeply to those core muscles. When you go very quick and very fast, you're often using a lot of momentum, and it's much harder to actually feel what's going on when you're going so quick and fast. Reach the arms and legs, total body stretch. Find that expansive inhale. And exhale. Contract. So yes, every exhale, we are drawing it in, but because this was just a total body stretch, we're maybe drawing it in very lightly, like 2, 3, 4%. That last exercise, which was quite challenging with the legs up or the tabletop, maybe we were using some more connection, some more strength, like 30, 40%. So the harder, more challenging the move is, the more our intensity and effort has to match the level of difficulty. Roll on up to seated again. And now we're going to talk about posture. Pilates is always working with the postural muscles and the spine, bringing the legs forward, the feet forward. You can have the knees bent or the legs straight. And I want to sit up as tall as we can. A lot of people don't even realize when they're slouching, when the shoulders are drooping. And now let's think of a string at the top of the head. And the string, like a puppet, is going to lift up to the sky. And that lift of the string from the crown of the head up into the clouds is going to help you find that lengthening through the vertebrae of the spine, the top of the spine, the neck area. It's going to put your chin into alignment. So that string, instead of coming from just the very top center crown, take it about an inch back to the back of the skull. And all that's going to do is allow you to slightly nod the chin and lengthen through the back of the neck. So exhale, you can even close the eyes if it helps you visualize. Imagine that string starting from the tailbone, through the spine, through that back of the skull, up into the clouds. And now stretch the arms out to the side and take the twist. Now we did the twist earlier with that lateral breathing, but now we're going to put some postural visualization into the mix. The twist is smaller than you think because we're not going to use our shoulders and our arms. Yes, they are going to go along for the ride because they are being moved by the core center body. Inhale, lengthen up from the back of the skull. Feel the expansion in the ribs. Exhale, zip up from the pelvic floor. Keep tall. The string is stretching tighter. And then come back to the center with your inhale. If you're doing this correctly, the legs will not move. They're not going to move to help you twist further because we're always battling. Our ego wants to really get us back there, but it's not about how far we're twisting. It's about, are we generating the move from the correct place? The core. Inhale, think of the string, back of the skull. Exhale, zip up those abs, tighten the ribs. Keep exhaling, zip up a little deeper, higher, all the air out. Inhale, back to the center. Stay tall with that string tightening. And one more time, exhale, twist, 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 ribs deeper, closer to the spine. Lengthen up, string tightening to the clouds. Inhale, back to the center and release. It's a lot of work if you're very mindful and doing it correctly. Instead of all this floppy twisting you see all the time in Pilates classes, and people are like, I don't get it, I don't feel anything, because they're not aware of how or where they're supposed to be recruiting these muscles. Now, if you really felt your hip flexors in that particular twist, then they are working too hard. You need more of that zipping up, navel deepening action, and maybe think about bending the knees. We don't want you to be in your quads and front of the hips, even though they are helping to stabilize you in that tall seated position, but we want the focus to be most and firstly in the core. Okay. Now, finally, with our last visualization, I love this concept of money. Aren't we all a little money motivated here? That'd be great if this was a $500 Canadian American bill, but unfortunately it's 500 pesos because I'm in Mexico right now. But it's still going to generate the same idea, which is the Pilates principle of centering, drawing things in to the center. For example, if I place this bill, and it always works very well with money, you could also use a pillow or anything, but money is more psychological. You place it in between the palms, you're going to keep it in place as you do whatever move it is. So you can feel that energy always pulling into the center. Even if my hands are not touching, the idea that the money is there and there's a force field keeping me always drawing into the center. Now let's put it into use with a practical Pilates exercise. We'll do bend and stretch. Coming down onto your back, and we're going to do it where the legs and hips are externally rotated so that the dollar bill, 500 pesos, is going to go right between the heels. Now you're going to pinch it into place and you're going to keep that connection to the centering as still as possible. You can't shimmy shift your legs or hips around or else you're going to lose that money. So let's start in a tabletop position, even though the knees are apart, toes are apart, heels are pinned. Another visualization, pinned together. And we'll bring the hands behind the head. Let's keep the head down to start. Inhale, expand the ribs. Exhale, draw the ribs in. Zip up those abdominals and start to extend the legs without losing that centering connection. Inhale, bend. Exhale, glide it out. You have to be so much more precise and thoughtful when you have your visualization in place. We'll add the ab curl. Exhale here, let's zip up those abs. Let's curl up and extend. Draw it into the center, squeeze it in. Inhale, bend. Exhale, think of that string at the back of the skull lifting up to the sky, and you might find your chin nod a little bit more aligned. You should not feel the neck or any tightness in the jaw. Let's try one more time. Inhale and exhale, squeeze into the center line. Pin those heels together. Inhale, bring it in, and then let's lower it down. We'll take this same move and we'll just apply it to a different starting position, coming onto your side. The same external rotation, but we'll do pointed toes, and we'll place that $1 million bill in place. And now exhale, lifting up, lowering it down. We're starting this move right at the side body, the obliques. There's work throughout the whole body, the hips, the glutes, the thighs, the legs, the shoulders are stabilizing. But exhale, draw in those abdominals, lift up past the belly button, and inhale, lower it down. Exhale, ribs in a little bit more. Keep exhaling, keep lifting, lengthen out and pin those heels together. Lower it down. There's so much multitasking in Pilates. Every move, exhale, has so much internal work combined with external work. Lower it down one more time. All this work that's happening on the inside. Exhale, the ribs drawing in towards the spine, the zipping up. Exhale, keep exhaling, lift those legs, hold for the inhale. Exhale, slowly lower it down with control. That was only 4 reps, but feels like so much work. Let's try it on the other side just to even it out. Before the lengthening, that string visualization, it's probably better to drop the head all the way down. So you're in one straight line. So I'll do that version for the second side. My $1 trillion bill in place, external rotation, heels glued together, another visualization. Let's start to feel the expansion in the ribs, feel the back of the skull, top of the head, string pulling out. Exhale, exhale, keep exhaling, keep zipping up a little higher, and inhale, lower down. Now you see sometimes I inhale to lower and sometimes I hold at the top for the inhale and exhale, moving on the exhale. Coming on up, let's stay for that inhale this time. Lengthen through the string, pulling tighter. Now zip up those abs, keep zipping, zipping, zipping as you lower it down. 2 more times. Exhale. Small, controlled move. Lots of work happening internally. Exhale. Lengthen, lengthen. Keep pinning those heels. And one last time. Deepen abdominals. Kegel as you lift the legs. Keep kegling a little higher. Inhale at the top and exhale. Lovely, lovely. Okay. We're now going to put all those moves together in the quintessential Pilates roll up and roll down. I am going to use my money visualization. So I'm going to add the external work. Actually, no, I'm going to keep the legs in parallel for the same concept of keeping that line of energy through the whole center body. Imagine though that I have that right between the arms and palms as well. I'm going to have to use my imagination for that one. So Pilates is a lot about perfection, which is why formation and alignment are key. So let's start with that inhale, expand through the ribs, string on the crown of the head, lifting up to the sky, just to find a little bit more pelvic tilt, tucking the tailbone under. I'm going to just soften the knees just a little bit. You might find this helps you find better alignment, better core connection. Inhale, lengthen and exhale. Belly button deepening. Lower it down, squeeze into the center. Inhale to expand here. Now feel those ribs drawing in. Feel the Kegel. Squeeze into the center and come back up to sitting tall. Sometimes in Pilates, they add that rounding forward. So you're still all the air out, crown of the head, pulling forward. I like to just come right up into neutral seated tall position to find the posture. Exhale. Kegel, ribs deeper. Squeeze into center. Lower it down, begin your inhale. Ribs wider, exhale. All the air. Coming up, sitting tall. Let's go 2 more times. Tuck the tailbone, belly button deepening, deepening. More exhale. A lot of breath control. Inhale and exhale. Coming back up, not using those arms and shoulders to whip ourselves up. Tall, chin nod, crown of the head to the sky, breath in. Now feel that pelvic floor lifting, abdominals deepening, rib cage contracting. Inhale, giving those lungs a workout too. And exhale, slow motion arms, crown of the head to the sky. Come up nice and tall. Last time here. And exhale. Squeeze into the center, inner thighs. Inhale at the bottom, breathe in. Exhale, contract, engage, zip up, crown of the head to the sky, and sit here nice and tall. It takes effort and muscle work just to sit up tall, just so we're not slouching or rolling off those sitting bones. Stay and breathe, flex the feet, squeeze into the center. Can you lift from the back of the skull, little taller? Exhale, abdominals in, and in. And release. Oh, okay. Good job, everybody. Hopefully some of those visualization techniques helped you discover these very typical traditional Pilates moves in whole new ways where you could feel some different connections in your body. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time.